super excited about this video, as I always am, because I have the newest prototype from Numb Knife Works, the N7. This is not it. This is the N1. I just want to say that if you're not familiar with the N1, which will be their first release, or the cornerstone as they call it, then you should take a look at my previous video, because it has an in-depth look at their patent pending pinch lock with a disassembly to show you how it actually functions. And I'm not going to go through that here. This is more like a initial reaction to the N7. And by the way, I also got this in a DLC version, which looks absolutely beautiful. Some knives don't look great blacked out. I think they did a fantastic job. And last but not least, now we have the N7, which, man, I love the lines on this knife. I've had it for about a week now. Just really enjoying it. Just a good looking knife. Again, I'm not going to go through the specs. There's not going to be any testing video. This is just a first looks type of video. I can tell you that it does have S90V blade steel. You obviously have a titanium bolster with that micro milling, featuring the star of the show, as I like to say, the patent pending pinch lock. And then you have the marbled carbon fiber scales, both black and gold. And in person, you can tell that they have some deeply infused color. It just looks beautiful. So as I had mentioned, with the patent pending pinch lock, it is a dual detent system. And I know I was initially curious before I got my hands on the N1 whether or not it would affect the action, because again, it is a dual detent system. So you have the initial point here, 1, and then 2. But man, it doesn't affect it at all. I can tell you that with the N1, it's already very smooth, but with the N7, it's just incredibly smooth. But in any case, the other feature of this that I wanted to go into was that they actually use a top flipper, not a front flipper, a top flipper, which is one of the features they wanted a lot of feedback on. And I mentioned to them that I would shorten it if possible, but more importantly, I would add an angle to the front, because the truth is it's sticking straight up and you're pulling it straight back, and it's going to cause a tiny bit of pain after doing it for a while. And like I said, this is incredibly addictive, and people are going to be utilizing it quite a bit if they grab one of these knives. So the more comfort, the better. The other thing that I wanted to look at, and when I say wanted to look at or want to look at, I'm going to be testing this for about another week or so, or however long they're going to allow me to keep it. And at that point, at the end, I'll probably do a more in-depth video. So I've only had it for about a week, and they want me to carry it, use it, test it as much as possible. So one of the biggest things I'd be looking at is the safety of the pinch lock. If you've seen my other review, you know that I feel very confident in the system, the locking system. But with the N7, you have a little bit of a new design to allow more button access. So it's scalloped here up top at the spine. I don't think Nick understood what I was saying when I said I think it actually makes it a little bit more safe. What I was trying to express to him is that when you hold a knife, your first point of contact is down here, at the bottom of the scale. And the way it fits in the crook of your palm, it's not like you have a ton of muscle here and it's a firm surface. You really have to grind your hand in to hit that. So I actually think having this angle with more access helps the safety of the locking system. Not that it already wasn't safe, but I think it actually helps, if anything. In any case, I'll be taking a look at that, and I can tell you with the testing that I've done, I haven't seen any issue. I do want to mention that before I started testing, the first thought that I had was, I wonder how my fingers line up with a button lock. Because when it comes to ergonomics, you know if a knife is comfortable, but I also realized that I never pay attention to where my fingers actually fall. So I brought one of my favorite top locks. I'm sure they call it something else, but with the FSD Mini, if I just put my fingers down, it falls right on top of this button, and I could easily disengage this almost every single time. It's not difficult. I'm not trying to force this to make an illustration. It's just there. That's how I grip this knife. So it reminded me of when I was younger, when I was younger and I'd hurt myself doing something stupid, and the response from my parents was basically, "Don't do that, stupid." I'm not trying to be harsh or anything. Obviously, if you want to, you can disengage any knife, button lock, or this pinch lock, but the truth is, you know what it does, so you avoid it. That's the whole point of being safe utilizing a knife. And it doesn't make a difference whether I'm choking up or I'm holding back here. I haven't felt like this pinch lock was in a position that would mistakenly disengage, and nor have I experienced it with the cutting tests that I've done. In any case, I'll be getting into that if I do a more in-depth video, which I probably will before I send it back. But really, I just wanted to showcase this, give you guys a little bit of a window into an up-and-coming prototype from a new company that a lot of people are talking about. I love this knife so far. I'll continue testing it, and I'll give you my overall, I guess, feedback in a couple of weeks, most likely. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys find this type of video cool the way that I do. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, it's the N7 from Numb Knife Works, and I'll see you guys soon.